Hello everyone, welcome back to our next video installment here, and today we're going to be taking a tour of LastPass. We're also going to learn how to generate our own password and how to save an existing password we already have within LastPass. So just to do a recap, last video you saw, you were supposed to at this point have your LastPass account enabled, and you're supposed to have LastPass verify that it's installed in all the devices that you're going to be using daily. So if all goes well, you should be seeing a red square in the top right corner of your browser. That's showing that the extension's signed in and ready to go. So let's jump into it. Two different ways to get to Vault that I find to be the most successful. Number one is the LastPass extension up here. Now this extension specifically can probably handle 90%, I would say, of everything you're going to do in LastPass right off the bat, just by clicking on this little square. We have things like recently used, all items, you can add a new item, you can even generate a secure password here. You can see it can kind of change the lengths on them, refresh them, get different combinations, make it as complex as I want. This is kind of a really nice on-demand password generator. On top of that, you can do check your security score or handle any of your account options from here. So it's a nice condensed menu that I use probably the most daily, but every once in a while I need to jump into my vault, and that's why the first item on this extension here is open my vault. So if we jump in there, that's the buzzword I want you to remember today is vault. Vault is where all of your saved items are going to be, along with all of your account settings that you can access. Fairly easy to navigate. The left hand side of here, you're going to have your menu bar. So your all items, which is all of your passwords, your notes, your addresses will all show up here. This is a brand new account, so there's nothing in here, but once we add some passwords, you're going to see some different records start to populate later in this video. But mainly here, your passwords is going to be a big area. Notes, addresses, and then we come down to security dashboard. That kind of gives you your score based off how many passwords you have, how weak they are, how reused they are. Account benefits, sharing center is going to be where all of your shared folders from other people reside. So if you have a folder with your department, it's going to show up here. If you've shared passwords to others, they're going to be here. And then if anybody's ever shared a password with you, it's going to show up here as well. Your account settings, and warning about your account settings, there are quite a bit of options in here. So you can get lost in here. By all means, poke around, see what you want to do, but just understand that this is probably going to be your most complex menu in the entire application. And then we have advanced options as well here. One tip I want to give everybody is right here, there's improved save and fill. For some odd reason they have it off for all new users. I highly suggest turning it on. That's the newest autofill features that LastPass has available. I think it looks a lot cleaner than what's there now, and it is better at predicting passwords I found than the previous model. And then of course we have help down here. And one good thing to remember is if you don't want to go back and watch this video and you just want to have a tour, right here is Vault Tour. You click that and that will give you a tour of every single little area of Vault available. Another little piece of learning at your disposal here is if you click up here in the top right corner under your account, you're going to have something called Starter Kit. I highly suggest using Starter Kit. This is great. It's a little assistant for you since you're brand new to LastPass. And so it'll ask you, use a password generator, try autofill, monitor your digital security. These are all things that we're going to be doing over the next couple weeks, so you might as well get a head start on it now and you can kind of see what's coming up. Okay, now we're going to jump into our first task here, which is saving a password that's already been created. So we're simply going to log into a website and we're going to watch what LastPass does to try to remember that password for you. All right, let's jump into our first exercise here, which is signing into a website where you already have a password created. We want to see how LastPass jumps in with its autofill features, how it's able to save, and so on. So let's get into it here. So my exercise here we're going to do is we're going to sign into Gmail. And I have my demo account here, Donald Duck. And this is the first time I am signing in on this computer. So I need to enter my password that I have already made. Got that entered, and it's going to log me into my Gmail account. But look at that, right away on the right side there you see add the LastPass. We want to add the username. So it's important to look to make sure anything highlighted in red is just something that LastPass may not have picked up. In this case, it's the username. That's pretty simple. We can go in here and put our username in, and we know it's saved the password. And then you can even put it into a folder at this point. If you have folders set up, great. If not, you can leave that blank. It will still add it to your LastPass. We want to make sure in the future it autofills, and everything else looks pretty good right there. So we're going to hit add password. Saving the password, and done. Couple observations here. You'll notice now when you're on the site that you have a password saved for, there usually is going to be a little number up here next to your square now. So let's go ahead and sign this account out and re-sign in and see what happens. And now it's a little different. We've entered the password once. LastPass can remember it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Donald Duck again. It's going to say, hey, put your password in, but look, I don't have to type anything. You'll notice right here, there's now a red square in our password field. And that's saying, hey, I have a record for Donald Duck right here. We have that record in, it's already auto-filled it for me. Hit next, and that's it. We're back in. So that's adding a password record that you already have. You've already created that password in the past, and it's now officially in your LastPass vault. So let's jump to Vault and see what that looks like. If we go over here and do a refresh, instead of just being blank, we have a category of none, but in there is google.com. That's our first password record we have here, and we can set that as a square. We can make it look like a list, whatever view you want. But that's from A to Z how to make a quick password record, and that will always now autofill across your phone, your iPad, or any other device that you sign your LastPass into. Next, we're going to look at how to create a password. If you're making a new account, you have to start with a new password. I'm going to show you the basics of how to make a secure password from the get-go and save it into LastPass. So let's take a look at that. Okay, the second most common situation you're going to see with LastPass is generating a brand new password. So in this situation, we're simply signing up for a website. So we have Wired.com here, and in order to subscribe to their news and get all the latest and greatest, we need to have an account. So they're wanting an email and a password. So I've already put in Donald Duck's email address, but right when I go to password, you'll see I have two things here. I have my little red squares from LastPass. That's kind of an indicator that, hey, we can tell this is an area we need to look at. So right away when I click in here, LastPass gives me an instant pop-up, and let's scroll down and take a look at this. This is really important. So instead of you choosing your own password to remember, something that's easy, something that's hackable, this is saying, no, go ahead and have this password fill in here. It's 12 characters. It's using all these different lowercase and uppercase, and you can change that too if you want to take symbols out of there. But a lot of times these requirements are needed of a website, so I usually leave them on. But 12 characters is fine. That's the minimum for the agency. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is just click on the password here. You're going to see a fill, and boom, there we go. And all I have to do is hit sign up. Thank you for signing up. Now look what happens next. We have another pop-up here on the right. This is from LastPass saying, hey, we noticed you created that record. And it's saying, do you want us to save that? Well, yes, I do. So we can go take a double check at it and look and say, well, it got my username, my password. I can put it in a folder if I wanted to put it like in personal or news folder or something like that. All of that looks good. Let's just hit add password. Done. That's all you have to do. So let's go check our vault though real quick. Let's see what that looks like now that we have two passwords in here. So I'm going to do a refresh. All right, and just like that, we now have two password record accounts in our vault. So on the left side, we have our google.com account, and that is an account where it had a password that we might have created ourselves a couple years ago. It just shows an example of how you could save it into LastPass and have it available on all your devices. And on the right side, we have our Wired.com account that we just made, and that account specifically, we let LastPass do the driving on creating a complex password, so we don't have to remember it, and it also saved it as a record for an autofill later on. So let's see what this looks like in real life. Now what's really hard is LastPass sometimes is very fast on signing in things with autofill. So I'm going to go to Wired.com again. I'm going to say sign in. It already autofilled my name here. That's got my little square there, and it even shows my record. We go continue with email, and it's automatically got my password auto-filled in from a record. And you can even come up here if you ever want to see how many different accounts you might have. You might have 5 different accounts for Wired.com. If you click the one here, it'll display everything that you have associated with Wired.com. For us, it's just one account. And we'll just hit sign in. I didn't have to put any password in. I don't even know what the password is. I couldn't even recite it to you right now. LastPass has done the work for us. So that's about it. That's how you can create passwords from scratch. If you're ever on the go and you have to have a form that it does not pop up for you, or when you click password to go create a form and it doesn't, you can always go up to this extension and hit generate secure password. You can create a password right from here hit copy, and paste it into whatever spot you need it put into. Alright, we finally made it to the end of the video here. At this point this week, I would like for everyone to really focus on acknowledging those pop-ups when you sign into services. We're all going to be signing into stuff every day, right? And if you see this LastPass icon or any type of notice pop up saying, hey, want me to save this password? Please do not ignore it. Please go ahead and start adding those password records, making sure they're clean, making sure they're accurate. That will give you a better security score, or at least tell you what you need to work on with passwords once everything is in Vault. Next week, we're going to focus on transferring passwords from Chrome, Firefox, Paper, Memory, you name it. But this week, just focus on what LastPass does for you in your everyday life while working on the web. And once again, I just wanted to focus on, always can go down to Help and do a Vault tour. And you can also go down to the starter kit as well and run through a couple of these items. That will make you even more comfortable than hopefully what I've shown you on this video. So until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks.